Hi guys, good evening. Welcome back once again to the EdWord. I'm your host Eddie, and in tonight's video I will be doing my episode review for the most recent episode of The Strain, which premiered earlier tonight on FX. So as usual with all of these review videos, especially for shows like The Strain, please be warned that this will be full of big spoilers, especially this episode, because this episode left my eyes this big earlier tonight. I was like, oh. So be warned that massive spoilers are to follow regarding the most recent episode tonight of The Strain. So if you haven't seen it yet, or if you're not caught up, do not keep watching or listening to this video. If you are caught up, please keep watching and listening to this video. You have been warned. That being said, good episode. Really, really good episode. You know what? It was like so much happened, and it's like part of me is like, wow, they did it. They finally did it. And then another part of me is like, that seemed way too easy and way too good to be true. And I'm gonna tell you what I'm talking about. First off, I loved the backstory on Quinlan. I guess he went by the name Quintus. We get more backstory on him. Apparently, his birth was not what we thought it was, because when we were first introduced to him, at least I was under the impression that his mother, a female, was raped and impregnated by the master, and thus Quinlan was born, becoming half Strigoi, half human. It turns out he was conceived by human parents, and that the master injected his mother with his stinger while she was pregnant, and thus when he formed from an embryo into a baby, he was born half human, half Strigoi, and his parents probably dumped him on some traveling freak show because it looks like that's where he spent most of his life. However, even though they didn't outright say it, I am very, very suspicious, and if we get another flashback, hopefully they'll reveal or confirm this. I'm suspicious that the old woman who saved him from the freak show turned out to be his biological mother. She was certainly old enough to be his mother. She obviously cared for him a great deal and did not explain why, and she said to him before she died, and she allowed him to drink her blood, "You're like a son to me." And he's like, "Mother," like, "Oh, you're like a mother to me." But I wouldn't be surprised if she turned out to be his real mom. And I love that confrontation in the caves where the master is like, only through deprivation can we reveal your true nature. I'm like, what the hell is that supposed to mean? And then he causes the cave to collapse in on itself, and you're like, no. He left him in there with that woman, and he's going to force him to drink that poor old woman's blood once she dies. Oh, that's cold, master. That's cold. And then speaking of mothers, God, I was hoping Miguel would not be this stupid, but I don't think stupid is the right word. I think grief-stricken, heartbroken are better words for it. Obviously, he can't bring himself to kill his Strigoi mother. I mean, to be fair, would any of us really be capable to do that, to kill our own mother after she's either become a zombie or a Strigoi? Because it's a similar situation we've seen many, many times before in The Walking Dead, where a character cannot bring themselves to kill a beloved former living relative who is now a walker. So it's not like this is completely, out of ordinary for those of us who watch shows like Walking Dead and The Strain. But I was like, damn, sooner or later he's going to lose just enough blood where he's weak enough where she'll be able to bite him with her stinger. Thank God, fan favorite Gus, sorry, not Gus, oh, damn it, what's his name? The Silver Angel. He went by the Silver Angel. Damn it, why am I drawing a blank on his name? Anyway, I apologize for that, but you guys know who I'm talking about. Silver Angel comes by, and right as they're arguing what to do with her, of course, a clean and sweep team comes by. It's like, oh, great, how is this going to end? And of course, I thought, this is not going to end well. And sure enough, it ends up with them being arrested after assaulting and then killing one of the officers and killing him by making his mother go all out Strigoi on them. And then she's out on the loose, and now they've been recruited into the new clean and sweep team, which makes sense because they're probably getting every able-bodied man they can in order to rid the streets of Strigoi, which makes a lot of sense. So now Angel and Gus will be back at it fighting Strigoi. And I'm wondering why they haven't mentioned Quinlan or their new allies yet, our main characters, of course. But who knows? I'm sure they'll cross their paths sooner or later. But something else that didn't surprise me was that during the initial trade between F and the Strigoi to get Zach back, I had a feeling like, nope, that's not Zach under there. That's like another feeler or a smaller Strigoi that's about Zach's height. And Quinlan was right. The Master did not agree to his end, did not honor his end of the agreement, and fortunately F was able to defend himself. And what was really cool about this scene is that when Quinlan appeared, so did the former Navy SEALs, just as Satrakian and Fett get there. By the way, kudos to Fett for being untrustworthy, so damn untrustworthy of Quinlan for putting a tracking device in the lumen. Excellent, excellent work. And just in case anybody else stole it, that is smart. Good work, Fett. Please, please, please don't die. They get there, and the Navy SEALs have been turned, but the Master allowed them to retain their ability to still hold and fire a gun. So, of course, they're shooting up poor Quinlan, and he took a lot of hits, too. And if he didn't die after he killed the Master, then he might have died from his gunshot wounds. But we just don't know. This episode, in my opinion, ended on a pretty big cliffhanger, because they had the light grenades where Fett and Satrakian used them on the Navy SEAL Strigois, and then that allowed Quinlan to decapitate the Master with a single stroke, and he completely cut off his head. Although one worm did get away. Was that the main worm, which is basically the essence of the Master? It's hard to say. I find it highly unlikely that they actually did kill the Master, since we are so early on into Season 3. However, they could do that where they kill the Master, Ichorus becomes the leader of the Strigoi, and they've still got to deal with him and the rest of the hundreds if not thousands of just Strigoi all over New York and all over the country. So they've got a lot to deal with. Even if they did kill the Master, there's still a lot of Strigoi out there. I am so curious and so excited about next Sunday's episode as to whether or not that was the Master they actually killed, or if that was a drone, much like the one that F and Quinlan used in the grocery store, as Quinlan would hold his neck, and then F basically, talked to him face to face. He's like, "This is how it's going to go down. Okay, I'm done talking to you." Snap! That was pretty cool and funny. Another thing about Quinlan is that, and I don't think he mentioned this last season at all to anybody, not to Satrakian or Gus or anybody, but it sounds like once he kills the Master, because he's connected to the Master, he will die himself. And he even said it to F, this is a suicide mission. But it's a suicide that, he's willing to partake in, because it means finally getting his vengeance on the Master. But whether or not he and the Master, if that actually was the Master or just another drone, I mean, it looks like Bolivar, but it could have been somebody else. Whether or not the Master's actually dead, we don't know. Well, I'm sure hopefully we'll get confirmation next week, as will we get confirmation for the fate of Quinlan as well. We just don't know, because it ended where it didn't really show neither of them breathing or not breathing. Obviously, the Master had his head cut off, but Quinlan, we just don't know. I hope he's okay. I like him. He's a badass character, a great sun hunter. So we'll see. So this was just such a good episode, especially the last 10 minutes of it were super intense, very exciting. But I also enjoyed the backstory, and I thought to myself, why is it the bastards are always the most interesting characters? Because, for example, on Game of Thrones, we have Jon Snow and Ramsay Bolton, who are both incredible characters that we really invest a lot in. And they're both bastards. And we also have Quinlan here, who's a half-human, half-Strigoi bastard. Already, that's an interesting character, and you can do so much with it. And I hope he's not dead. I really hope not. And I hope they clear things up as well, like if that was the Master or not. So we'll have to tune in next Sunday to FX for the new episode of The Strain. And then be sure to tune in here on the EdWord for my immediate episode review once that episode airs next week. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me here on the EdWord for once again another Strigoi infested episode review. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did. Don't forget to check out my Facebook page in the description down below. I think you'll like what you see. The Strain premieres every Sunday night on FX with new episodes. Check your local listings for times, and stay subscribed to this channel as we continue to follow Season 3. All right, guys, have a great rest of the night, and if I don't see you again later tonight, as usual, May the Force be with you.